Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Tensions boiled like the heat of Los Angeles in the sun-drenched corridors of Forrester Creations, where ambition fought with desire and family ties strained thinner than the finest silk. While reviewing the newest designs, Brooke Logan Forrester paced her office, her trademark blonde waves catching the light. Once more, her sister Katie Logan Spencer was causing a stir by promoting concepts for the Logan line that Brooke was unable to support. After years of love, grief, and rivalry, the two Logan sisters had developed a complex relationship, but this most recent business move felt like a betrayal. Brooke was infuriated by Katie's decision to include some pieces without consulting everyone, believing it to be a betrayal of their shared history. During one intense discussion, Brooke's voice reverberated off the glass walls as she yelled, "How could you do this without talking to me first?" Katie delivered scathing remarks that severely damaged their sisterly bond while maintaining her composure and flashing determined eyes. Although the animosity wasn't new, it had a new sting and served as a reminder to everyone in the fashion empire that professional wounds weren't always healed by blood. Young love and long-standing resentment collided violently in the busy design room. R.J. Forrester and Will Spencer had never been able to agree, and their rivalry was driven by a desire for respect, attention, and the affections of others in their immediate vicinity. Their hostility erupted into a physical altercation on what appeared to be a typical afternoon. In the midst of strewn fabric swatches and incomplete sketches, shoves became passionate remarks, and fists almost flew. Ever the patriarch, Ridge Forrester intervened to chastise RJ and caution him against bringing personal drama into the workplace. "This is Forrester Creations, not a boxing ring," Ridge growled, clearly disappointed. Observing from a distance, Brooke whispered wisdom that only a mother could provide, encouraging her son RJ to follow his heart. However, RJ's heart was complicated, particularly when he discovered an unanticipated ally in Ivy Forrester among the mayhem. Though her intentions went beyond simple friendship, Ivy's refined appeal and covert goals made her a listening ear. The brilliant and feisty young designer Electra Forrester found herself in the middle of an unexpected maelstrom. Her relationship with Will had been difficult, characterized by miscommunications and outside meddling. Early in the week, Daphne Rose Walton, who was close to the family and had her own secrets, established the legislation. She addressed Ivy head-on, demanding that she reveal the truth about a purloined letter that Ivy had taken in order to destroy Will and Electra's relationship. "You can't keep hiding this, Ivy. It's eating away at everything," Daphne said in a very urgent tone. After experiencing several highs and lows, Electra became impatient and issued another ultimatum. The revelation struck like a thunderbolt toward the middle of the week. Electra discovered the terrible truth. Will's passionate letter had been intercepted and stolen by her own aunt, Ivy, who had planned the divorce. Words cannot adequately express how deeply the violation shattered trust. Will and Ivy each made separate pleas in an attempt to preserve their relationship with Electra. With her conscience burdened by her knowledge of Ivy's machinations, Melissa Dillon, entangled in the web of knowledge, teetered on the brink of significant admissions. The romantic conflicts grew more intense over the course of the days, developing into a full-fledged love quartet that had the potential to completely upend lives at Forrester. Everything was exacerbated by Electra's newfound attraction to RJ. While she struggled with residual feelings for Will, she was pulled to his steady presence and creative drive. Will, on the other hand, found it difficult to break his developing bond with Dillon, whose own tragic choice earlier in the week left her fragile and thoughtful. Dillon and RJ might find themselves bonding in the wake of rejection if Will and Electra tried to repair what Ivy had shattered. The quad became increasingly disorganized by the hour, with everyone unable to ignore the jealous undercurrents, whispered comments during fittings, and sly looks in the passageways. Steffi Forrester Finnegan, who runs the business in her trademark tough manner, considered terminating Ivy for her cunning. The environment at work has been poisoned by the excessive disruption. Equipped with the knowledge, Electra promised to resign if Steffi failed to take decisive action against her aunt. Steffi was forced to make a tough leadership decision that struck a balance between family loyalty and professional integrity when Electra questioned, "How can I stay here knowing what she's done?" Another romance grew under shadows of the past across town, in the most private parts of Los Angeles society. After years of conflict and improbable partnerships, Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes had found comfort in one another. With cautious optimism, they proceeded in the hopes of finally putting an end to the ghosts of past entanglements, especially those concerning Sheila Carter. While Deacon, always the survivor with his rough edges smoothed by time, welcomed the potential of something genuine, Taylor, with her therapeutic insight and strong spirit, leaned toward the possibility of bliss. Dinners at Il Giardino, late-night discussions about mending past hurts, and tentative preparations that seemed like a new beginning were all times of quiet tenderness. Peace, however, was elusive. Sheila, Deacon's estranged wife and a chaotic force enveloped in unwavering obsession, would not go away. She was a persistent ex because to her history of deception and retaliation, and her obsession with Deacon was on the verge of becoming dangerous. Sheila was far from finished, despite Deacon and Taylor's hopes that their issues with her were over. A simmering animosity, orchestrated encounters, and whispers of her presence created pressure that was on the verge of exploding. At the core of her aspirations with Carter Walton, Daphne Rose Walton encountered her own intensely personal obstacles. The couple had been excited to grow their family, looking forward to a time when they would enjoy motherhood and hear the pitter-patter of tiny feet. Despite their best efforts, which were filled with tenderness and hope, they were disappointed month after month. Daphne's normally lively vitality faded as a result of her frequent setbacks, and she became more and more disappointed. She expressed her worries to Carter in private, questioning whether a deeper issue was at work. She sobbed as she told Carter, "What if it's me? What if we can't make this happen the way we want?" Carter's calm assurance was a comfort against the uncertainty. Eventually, Daphne made an appointment with a doctor, preparing herself for answers that would change their course. The session made it possible to have challenging discussions regarding possible infertility problems, medical assessments, and the psychological effects of trying to conceive despite biological obstacles. Carter never wavered in his love or support, but the obstacles put their relationship to the test in significant ways. Alternatives were discussed, such as adoption routes that may introduce a kid into their lives in a different way or surrogacy choices that might involve dependable friends or experts. Paperwork, waiting times, and the pain of unmet desire made the process seem onerous, but it also made them more determined than ever to have a family. The amorous entanglements at Forrester Creations required resolution as the first week gave way to the second. Will and Electra circled each other cautiously, fighting RJ and Dylan's diversions as they tried to rebuild on shattered foundations. Like a forbidden melody, Electra's desire to RJ persisted, luring her toward artistic partnerships that blurred the boundaries between personal and professional life. Will's affections for Dylan fueled the flames, resulting in situations where group get-togethers sparked with unsaid tension and double dates grew awkward. Everyone questioned their decisions as a result of the quad's messiness, which manifested itself in stolen kisses, jealous tantrums, and sincere admissions. With Electra's ultimatum looming over the business like a Damocles sword, Steffi's inclination to fire Ivy intensified into serious discussions. Would justice for Electra require a clean separation, or would familial ties prevail? While Brooke pushed for healing whenever possible, Ridge gave advice, reminding Steffi that leadership necessitated making difficult decisions. Knowing that a single mistake might have repercussions for seasons, collaborations, and reputations, the fashion industry watched anxiously. As Sheila's deceptive tactics gained traction, Deacon and Taylor's developing romance was put to the ultimate test. She lurked on the outskirts, her fixation showing up as well-planned intrusions meant to sow division and uncertainty. Sheila's strategies were subtle at beginning, but they bore the weight of her legendary past. A fortuitous encounter here, a sharp comment there. Deacon was caught between the sincere love blossoming with Taylor and his allegiance to his past with Sheila. Despite Steffi's worries about the dangers, Taylor, who was no stranger to emotional complexity, turned to her family for support. The air became heavy with expectation of Sheila's next escalation, but the couple persisted, snatching moments of happiness amid the uncertainties. Her inability to just go on turned her into a persistent shadow that, if ignored, may ruin their future. By the third week, Daphne's baby journey had reached a critical turning point as May sweeps threatened to cause increased drama. Their attention shifted from natural conception to more complex solutions as the doctor's observations validated difficulties that neither she nor Carter had fully anticipated. In their environment, reports of infertility frequently involved layers of medical testing, psychological counseling, and lifestyle modifications, all while upholding a professional facade of strength. Carter combined his legal knowledge with unwavering cooperation, while Daphne pushed herself into her work at Forrester, transforming frustration into creative designs. They investigated surrogacy, contacting possible applicants and negotiating moral dilemmas that challenged their morals. As people talked about giving their hearts to a child who was already in need, adoption became a ray of hope. Instead of shattering them, these obstacles strengthened their resilience and served as a reminder that family may take many different forms. At just the appropriate moment, Sheila's scheming became more intense, her preoccupied former self unleashing techniques that were saved for maximum impact. A powder keg was formed around Deacon and Taylor through deceptive calls, unexpected appearances, and plans to recapture what she thought was hers. Once a ray of optimism, the couple's romance was now navigating perilous waters with encounters that revealed weaknesses and required difficult decisions. Would Deacon's past drag him back into chaos, or would Taylor's strength withstand the assault? The personal stakes were heavier than ever, but Steffi and the larger Forrester clan came together where they could. The love quartet reached shaky truces and boiling points in the design studios. Attempts by Will and Electra to repair the harm caused by Ivy's meddling collided with new interests, resulting in messy heart-to-hearts that continued into after-work events. Due to their shared disappointments, RJ and Dylan were able to find common ground. As a result, their sympathy grew warmer and further blurred boundaries. Ivy had to deal with the fallout from her deeds, her cries being met with betrayed, hardened ears. A metaphor of how personal grudges may topple professional empires, Steffi's destiny was at stake. The constant animosity between Brooke and Katie simmered in the background, their professional disagreements reflecting the romantic ones, evidence that hardships in this environment were interconnected and constantly tested allegiances. The bold and the beautiful's protagonists had to negotiate a tornado of emotions throughout it all. Daphne and Carter's baby obstacles demonstrated the brittleness of dreams, which call tremendous perseverance and ingenuity to overcome. No relationship stayed straightforward as romantic struggles weaved a tapestry of desire, jealousy, and redemption. Sheila, the obsessed ex, also represented the perils of unresolved history. Her tenacity served as a reminder that some flames would not go out peacefully. Decisions about forgiving or saying goodbye, expanding the family via unusual means, and whether love could actually defeat the machinations of the determined loomed huge as weeks merged into unknown terrain. In the end, each character stood at a crossroads that would determine their future routes in the bright, dramatic world they lived in. The fashion house was alive with anticipation. Hearts were racing with uncertainty. Los Angeles seemed to be holding its breath for the results, as shown by the electric energy in the air. Despite the hurt caused by her family's betrayal, Electra stood up and thought clearly about her future at Forrester. In a world where secrets festered like untreated wounds, her ultimatum to Steffi was about self-preservation as much as justice. Will sought out times of solitude to process his thoughts for Dylan and Electra as he considered his part in the pandemonium of the Quad. He paced his family's Spencer properties, wondering if genuine reconciliation was ever conceivable, as he was torn between the comfort of the past and the promise of the future. Encouraged by his mother's advice to follow his heart, RJ was pulled more into the emotional struggle, and his relationship with Ivy complicated his position on the developing drama. With her painful decision behind her, Dylan handled Will and RJ's attention with a combination of flattery and caution, aware that one mistake could destroy delicate new relationships. Daphne's disillusionment gave way to proactive resolve. The doctor's visit uncovered possible underlying problems that many couples encountered but few publicly mentioned, such as hormonal abnormalities, stressors from her demanding job, or just the unpredictable nature of biology. She and Carter read extensively about reproductive therapies and went to consultations that combined clinical objectivity with a deep sense of optimism. While adoption agencies loomed as a chapter full of home studies, interviews, and the emotional roller coaster of waiting for a match, surrogacy conversations involved legal complexities Carter was familiar with, evaluating gestational carriers versus traditional paths. Their private evenings changed from stressful attempts to loving affirmations, demonstrating that obstacles might refocus rather than obliterate their common goal. Sheila took calculated risks with her escalation. Her fixation showed up in ways that made it difficult to distinguish between control and concern, possibly through public demonstrations intended to damage Taylor's reputation, intercepted emails, or anonymous reports. Even as Taylor offered freedom, Deacon felt the weight of his conflicting allegiances, his past with Sheila acting like a chain. Taylor faced her worries head-on using her professional knowledge, but the personal cost was evident in quiet moments of uncertainty. Everything was exacerbated by the Forrester family dynamic, which resulted in tense family gatherings due to Steffi's protectiveness of her mother and Deacon's independence. Ever the optimist in her own romantic realm, Hope provided perspective and reminded others that love needed to be fought for in the face of outside challenges. The personal turmoil was reflected in the business at Forrester Creations. Brooke and Katie continued to argue over Katie's choices, and their sisterly disagreements spilled over into strategy meetings where Logan pride and creative risk-taking collided. Will and RJ's altercations sparked more general thoughts on peace in the workplace, with Ridge upholding rules while covertly appreciating the enthusiasm of the younger generation. Employees gossiped about loyalty, treachery, and the high price of plotting in a family-run business as a result of Ivy's possible dismissal or retention. The entwined plots promised dramatic payoffs as the 3 weeks approached their culmination. Daphne and Carter had to redefine success as a result of the baby obstacles, and their path is an example of perseverance and flexibility. The love quad served as a microcosm of how once collided in close quarters as romantic problems pushed the boundaries of forgiveness and attraction. Sheila, the obsessed ex, was the wild card. Her actions during sweeps week made sure that nobody got away with it. Characters discovered that obstacles, whether an idea, connection, or conflict, frequently cleared the path for unanticipated development in this world of glitz and hardship. Families would realign, hearts would mend or break again, and the brave would keep pursuing beauty in the midst of all the lovely chaos. In the never-ending tale of love, legacy, and Los Angeles hopes, the drama did not develop in a vacuum but rather as a rich tapestry in which each obstacle, hardship, and passion wove strands that tied them together, for better or worse. Everyone questions their decisions as a result of the emotional upheaval and unexpected turns that occur over the course of the next 3 weeks. On her path to growing her family, Hope encounters difficult obstacles as unanticipated issues come up. What at first seemed like a promising plan swiftly devolves into a difficult experience that forces her to face anxieties she has been attempting to repress. Liam tries to remain encouraging, but when their future is uncertain, even he starts to feel the pressure. In the meantime, love tensions start to surface around Los Angeles. Ridge and Brooke make an effort to be back together, but unresolved issues and past transgressions come back at the worst times. Every sincere discussion appears to return to past traumas, making progress challenging. Taylor's presence merely makes things more difficult because unresolved emotions won't go away. All 3 of them are left wondering if love is sufficient to triumph over history as the emotional triangle gets tighter. In another scene, Steffi has a feeling that something is wrong, and her intuition is correct. Determined not to let go of the past, an infatuated ex emerges with a dangerous fixation. Subtle intervention quickly turns into something much more concerning. As Steffi strives to protect her family from an increasing threat, her protective side comes out, but things go more quickly than anticipated. Finn grows more worried as he realizes that everyone involved could be in danger and that this is more than simply an emotional connection. Alliances start to change as secrets come to light. Once trusting characters begin to doubt one another's intentions, and unanticipated alliances arise in reaction to impending catastrophe. Every plot line develops tension, giving the impression that an explosive event is imminent. With the stakes high and the emotions running high, every choice has the potential to permanently alter people's lives. Viewers are left wondering who will find happiness, who will experience heartbreak, and who won't see what's coming next, as a surprise shift sets the stage for even greater drama just when it seems like things can't get any more intense. As feelings clash and choices have long-term effects, tensions increase in Los Angeles. At a crossroads, Ivy recognizes that this might be her final opportunity to establish her place in the world. Vulnerable yet determined, she makes a daring action that could either ensure her future or make everything much more unattainable. Her determination is evident, but the responses she encounters might not match her expectations, prompting her to wonder if it's too late to alter the story. Ridge, meantime, adopts a hard position and issues a warning that causes everyone around him to tremble. Not only are his words protective, but they also serve as a boundary. Ridge makes it very evident that trust and loyalty are now required, and anyone who violates them will suffer the repercussions. His passion has an impact on both his personal and professional lives, making people reevaluate their own decisions before it's too late. Elektra must make a choice that could permanently change her course. She struggles to find clarity since she is torn between shielding herself from possible pain and following her heart. As she considers her alternatives, the pressure mounts since she is aware that the decision she makes will permanently alter her future. Advice is given by those in her immediate vicinity, but in the end, she must make the decision on her own, and sooner rather than later. Secrets lurk beneath the surface of these interwoven narratives, ready to burst at any time. Alliances are questioned, relationships are put to the test, and the stakes keep going up. Every look suggests something more that is just waiting to be discovered, and every discourse seems to be full with hidden significance. The characters are forced to make decisions that could alter everything because their emotions are running high and time is running out. Nobody is completely protected from the consequences of what lies ahead, and nothing is certain. Everyone is on edge and yearning for answers when a new twist appears just when it looks like the truth could finally be revealed. Don't miss a second as the drama develops and surprising turns keep viewers wondering right up to the very end, demonstrating once more why this tale never fails to enthrall audiences.